guess what? We're back. We're back once again on the No Pressure, No Diamonds podcast. My name is Alex Rose. And guess what? I have a great co-host today, a guest co-host today. All right, give me your name. Tell them who you are.
Hi, everybody. It's Camille Hita here.
Yeah, this is so cool, man. We're so excited. I'm glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
And today, we have a great flavor today. A great flavor of people here today, and I'm so excited. And this is, a great friend, all right, a great friend, and I'm just floored because this person, is a great mom, a great wife, right? So I really appreciate you, and we have a special guest here today. Also a great wife, a great mom, a fantastic business owner, CEO. Oh my goodness.
Fired up.
So I'm super excited to have here in the building the great Oksana Kolesnikova.
Wow.
Did I get it?
You got it.
That's a hard one.
So welcome.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Camille. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me. And I'm excited to share my story and my journey with your listeners.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to dive in because we have a finite amount of time today to really dive in today. So we're gonna go right to it. So if you guys didn't know, and I'm sure you guys do who are listening, but those who don't and are watching, Oksana is a classically trained, world renowned, not even so we have royalty literally sitting in the ranks right now, world renowned, classically trained pianist. But
so cool.
Which is amazing. So but as turned business, went from being a pianist to literally being a business owner and, taking over the franchising world. So we're going to talk about that story here today. And so just to give people a little bit of background, about yourself, tell the folks, because we noticed if people didn't notice, we kind of knows a little bit of an accent. So tell the people, kind of where you're from, kind of the upbringing and how you, kind of how you became a pianist, and we'll transition to the business from there.
Well, first of all, thank you, Alex, for such magnificent introduction. I'm flattered. But my journey is quite unusual and long. I was born in Siberia, Russia, and I grew up in Kazakhstan. Okay. Which used to be part of Soviet Union, and then it separated. So I moved to United States when the Soviet Union was falling apart. I moved with my family in early 90s, and we settled in Florida. And I went to high school there. I pursued my musical passions and ambitions. And it's just, the best thing ever happened to me. I couldn't be happier for, my parents take such a big risk and move to a completely brand new country that I now call home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, so what was... So kind of that transition show becoming, so that transition, what was that like? Did you speak the language? Did you speak English before you moved, or did you have to learn as you came? What was kind of that transition like?
Yeah, a transition was not easy. I was a teenager. I didn't speak much English. And I had to learn fast. I was going to high school, and I was in the high school with all the regular kids from US who already spoke English. Yeah. But if you now I look at it in retrospect, it was a very good, I learned it faster because I didn't have excuses. There is no community which I could just, practice my native language all the time. I was put into environment where it was only English speakers. And as hard as it was in the beginning for me as a teenager, I had to learn fast. And I'm thankful for that.
Thrown in the deep end.
Yeah.
So
you plunge and then you learn how to swim, right?
There you go.
That's it. I mean, but just that, and that's probably one of the, just a first level or first layer of building a thick skin.
That's right.
Right. Building a thick skin just from the beginning. First of all, coming to a whole new country that you may have never been to, right? And then you got to learn the language, and now you're here learning the language, and you're, no excuses, and you're not going back. So it's like, but that's amazing. And so from there, high school, so how did you kind of transition into, the pianist and kind of creating a career from that?
That's right. Well, I discovered my passion for music early on. So I must have been like 5 or 6 years old back home. I was drawn to anything music and piano. And my parents spotted my interest. So thanks to them, they signed me up to a local music school. And that's why my first early music development has begun. So when I moved to the States, music was like an escape for me from the reality, from the difficulties of life. And I would channel all my, I would be in completely different worlds, practicing, learning, creating. And that was the world I was happy in. Yeah. And as I was, involved into music heavily, I got noticed by first my high school choir instructor at high school, and he noticed my love for piano, and he asked me to accompany for the choir, and I did it happily with joy. And then he provided me new opportunities. He says, well, there is a competition here taking place. Do you want to enter this competition? So I didn't know anything, being new in the country, of any competitions or anything. So I took his advice and I started to participate and get active in talent shows, competitions, events. And everywhere I would participate, I would bring and share my talent and passion with my audiences. So this is how I started to grow as a musician in my mid to late teens. And then when I finished my high school, I had another opportunity. I never thought I would be able to go to college or university. It's something I thought like I could never afford and pursue higher education. So an opportunity came where there was this competition that I could participate and earn scholarship to attend. First St. Petersburg College, which I went to after high school in St. Petersburg, Florida. And I did, and I won the scholarship. So I couldn't believe my luck that, having higher education, and opportunity to earn in United States. It was like, wow, oh my goodness, this is like an unbelievable dream come true. So I studied at St. Petersburg College for a few years, and then I saw another opportunity, also competition to earn scholarship to go to Florida State University. And I entered the competition, and I also won the competition, which enabled me to afford to study.
Wait, have you ever did a competition and not win? Because it sounds like you win at every competition.
Well, I've done so many things, and in life, there are ups and downs. So I cannot, claim that I was successful every single time. But in key moments that actually transition my life and my journey in a certain direction that I thought I would go. And yeah, so I went on to study at Florida State University, and I studied my music, which is, subject dear to my heart. I graduated from Florida State University, and that's when my touring career as a performer artist has begun.
That's
Oh
so
my
cool.
goodness.
Yeah.
And then she blew up. That was it. It was like microphone
Game
drop.
over.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And just thinking about that, because some folks would shy away from opportunity, right? They might be afraid. It's like, well, I don't know how I'm going to do. I don't, how it's, how people are going to receive me, or, what people are going to say, or I've never been in a competition before. I don't know if it's for me, but it seemed like he just took it in stride. Like, you know what? I'm not losing anything if I put myself in position.
Exactly.
And luck is when opportunity and preparation meet.
That's so true. That's so true. And not to say I was never like, I've been, nervous and worried, entering into opportunities. But if I have not participated in opportunity, God knows which direction my life would take.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, when you were a kid, though, like in the States, and you're being noticed for your talents, did you ever feel like you were outed at all being from another country? Did it feel just like it flowed, like you didn't even pay attention to that stuff? How was it like?
I mean, yeah, I felt a little bit on the outside, but I think it's the barrier of my language, and also the fact not knowing that much and not living long enough in the culture. So I had my own insecurities as well. So, but music was really an escape for me during that time. So it really... I'm so grateful for having that in my life.
That's so cool. Have you seen the movie Soul? Did your son watch that movie yet?
Soul? No, I have not.
It's a Disney movie, and he's playing the piano, and he just goes into this world, like you were saying. He went into this world of just like creating, and it was beautiful.
Oh, wow.
So I imagine, like, what does that world look like for you when you say, I just go into my own world? Like, what is that like? Walk us through that experience.
I'll definitely tell my son to watch the movie. Thank you.
It's so good.
for recommending. It's the world where you have total control of of your creation. You have a total control of setting a goal and ability to achieve it.
I like that.
It's a world where you're more free and open, and there is no setbacks or barriers, and it's just a world that gives you a lot of enjoyment.
Wow, I love that.
It's kind of like, because I had a similar experience when I played basketball, right? Because I was very sports oriented. And whenever I was kind of going through something, basketball was like that. Was that escape? So I think that's a very, and eventually you want to live a life where you don't want to escape from it all the time. But we have things that go on, in our heads, and to have something, whether it's piano or a sport or some type of activity that when you're doing it, you feel in total control of what's going on. And your brain is totally focused on that instead of focused on whether it's problems or issues or other people. You have that ability to escape. So I understand. I get you.
Yeah,
I get you. I see what's going on. And so now we're performing, right? So now we're performing. We're going around. We're starting to go touring around the world. Now, what is that like going around? So did you start touring just in Florida? Did you start touring around the world pretty quickly right after college?
Well, as I look back, it's so amazing how like life gives you unexpected opportunities and unexpected situations. So as I was going to finish in my last years of Florida State University, I met the love of my life.
Where is he at? Where is he at?
That's right.
Love that guy. I love it.
My husband of 22 years.
Mm.
And so initially he discovered me as an artist, and he became my music manager.
Oh, smart guy, Alex. Smart guy. Love that guy.
So at first we had working relationship. I even introduced him to my parents for the first time as my music manager. And he was organizing. He saw me in action, and he saw how much passion I have. And I have to tell you, he is so incredibly passionate about music as well. And he has a lot of, experience in marketing, public relations, promotions, organizing concerts, events. And he stepped in to help me to navigate my next stage of my artistry. Now that I graduated from university, I was ready to face the world and offer my music to the world. And it was just the right time when I met him, and he helped me. First, we started organizing local events, and then we expanded. He was booking me in other states, so we would travel. And then eventually we expanded performing overseas. I entertained U.S. Armed Forces Entertainment. I went on several tours with MWR. So that was unforgettable experience, entertaining our, servicemen with U.S. Navy. And yeah, it's been a very exciting performance careers in new places, sharing my music with audiences across the world. And then I became a mom 10 years later into my performance career. So that's another point in my life where I had to shift my gears.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now that's interesting. Well, you guys have a little more experience on that end than I do. But like I said, when you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour in your career, flying here, going that's all over the place, right. And now mommy mode kicks in. Mommy mode kicks in. What's that? How do you balance that and navigate that?
Yeah.
Being a mom and an excited and hungry entrepreneur. How do you kind of balance that life?
Yes. Well, it's completely different world and different experience once you become a parent. So, I traveled with my husband for about 10 years. And when we were ready to have a child, naturally, I could not have that kind of lifestyle of constantly on a go, performing events. You have to be there. And being a mother is very important to me. I'm one of those individuals that have to be there every step of the way during my child's growth. So this is the point at which I start transitioning from performer, artist into a business person.
That part.
Yes.
Ooh. Yes. Absolutely. So I know you had a question. Did you have it? Okay. So with that transition, because now, being, transitioning from, being kind of more of a self-employed, it's me doing everything kind of as far as being the performer, right? Doing everything on that end, now transition into business owner. Is this where OMG Inc. started?
Well, so this is how I grew into building my first company. So as I had my child, we actually, right before I got pregnant, we moved to Los Angeles from Tampa Bay area. And when I moved here, I landed a very wonderful position as an in-house pianist at the legendary Polo Lounge in Beverly Hills Hotel.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know if some of your listeners know, but this is a historic place.
I know exactly where it's at.
Where all the celebrities go there, not just to dine and lunch, but also they have meetings with their agents and managers. And this place has been around forever. Like back in the days, Marilyn Monroe, Frank Sinatra used to frequent that place. And these days, all the business leaders, celebrities, anyone you can think of, patron that facility. So I landed this position to play their lunch hours. Was it 5 days a week? And
that must have been a dream.
It's been a dream. Yeah, I have to tell you, so many musicians in Los Angeles, dream to play in such a place that is so exciting, so classy, so elegant, and it's indeed has been very exciting experience. Like, I remember growing up in Russia, watching American movies, seeing all these actors, and now I'm sitting there playing piano, and they everybody walking by.
That's so cool.
I'm like, wow, if I knew that growing in Russia that I'll be playing for these individuals, I would never believe myself.
That's amazing.
So it's been very exciting. I played for almost so many celebrities and business leaders and entrepreneurs. And at that point, I was ready to, stay local and build and grow my roots and build my business locally. So I started to accept some private piano students, and some of the celebrities, they would hear me play, and they would approach me and they would say, well, do you teach also? We would love my child to study with you. And this is how, little by little, I started to build my personal private piano studio. And it started growing. So the celebrities would refer their friends, their family members, and little by little, my studio grew and started to flourish and started to grow. And at that point, I reached the point where it's like, you can, there's only so many hours in a day.
There it is.
There's only so much you can teach, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't want to turn the business away also, So I had to start thinking creatively. So I thought, okay, well, I'm in music scene. I know a lot of fellow musicians that not only perform but also teach. And I started recruiting them to be part of my studio. And first, I recruited piano instructors, but later I expanded to, guitar teacher, voice teachers, violin teachers. And it was growing. It seems like it's fast, but this all been, taking years to get to those levels of success. And, eventually I realized also that the families that, have multiple kids, they might have one of them study piano, but another child may want to learn a foreign language, like Spanish lessons, or they might struggle in school and they might need tutor, to help them with math. So I thought, why not to take it a little further? And at that point, I established my first company. It's Oksana Management Group, under which it's like an umbrella. We have different branches. We have a branch that specializes strictly with music programs. We have a branch that deals with foreign languages. So we offer Italian languages, Spanish, French, Farsi, Hebrew, Russian. And then the third branch offers academic tutoring for K to 12, so for children who need homework and tutors. And that's the birth of my first company.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I need to ask you for your card because that is awesome.
My goodness, that's so cool, man. but like you said, the opportunity, the being ready for an opportunity, right? So being ready and just being like, you know what? They're like, well, will you be able to? And it's like, yeah, I probably can. Like, yeah, maybe.
That's right. Sometimes, and it's scary sometimes to try to do something new, something you haven't done before. But you see, like, even in my early teens, sometimes you just have to plunge and learn how to swim. And these are the risks I've taken in my life, in my business career, that yes, it's a little scary. I might not know as much as, like might not have experience as much as I would like to, but let me give it a try at least.
Yeah.
And once you go over that barrier, is like, swim.
Right. No, swim.
The world opens up, and you have more availability.
Well, okay, I have a question. So how is it like, because when you get into that stage of business where you're like, okay, I need to recruit, because you can't do it, like you have only amount of hours of the day, right? I was trying to build my photography business for a few years, and I have 4 kids, and I'm like, I'm a little late. Maybe I should start recruiting photographers, because I'm very good. I know the strategy, the business side, and a lot of artists have a hard time with that side. So how can I do this? So when I'm looking for the right photographers, and how is your experience like doing that? Because I couldn't find really committed artists that were willing to do this with me. It was really challenging. But how was your experience like? Was it really easy to find people? Did you filter out some people, and then like some people stuck? How was that experience like?
Well, in my business life, I've been through so many like endless situations, good and bad. Okay.
Yeah, I bet.
But this is something you learn, you master, and you get better at. Okay, it's not something you're born with. And like I gotten better over the years of hiring my team players. So you have to make sure that they share the same passion you have. And the care, like in my situation, it's the education, it's working with children, it's passing the legacy, the knowledge of the subject to a new generation. And I look for those qualities when I hire individuals, and those are the ones that stay with me the longest. So I am very careful who I hire, and also they represent my mission, my statement, and my brand out there. So yeah, hiring right team is at the core of it all.
Yeah. It takes a lot of time.
And it's not always easy too. I don't want to make it sound like it's easy, but you persevere and you get there.
That's awesome.
And filtering through the people is probably one of is a tough thing. But when you know your mission, when you know when you have a clear vision, especially when you're you're committed, when you're totally committed and you have a clear vision.
That's a good point.
It's a lot. It seems a lot easier to recruit people.
The discernment is strong.
Yeah,
you're like, oh no, that's not the one. The discernment is strong. That's true.
I love it, man. I love it. So taking it from, so now we have, built these branches in business, and now it's like, okay, so when did you think of the idea to even expand further, right? So take it even another level, another level.
You're already successful. It sounds great.
So
that is a very good question. So we already 10 years into, so we opened Oksana Management Group in 2010. Okay. So we're 10 years into the business.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we at the stage where, yes, we have a lot of staff in terms of teaching and educating, but there is so much you can take on your shoulder as a business owner. Because in terms of dealing with every single detail of everything business, it's a lot. And I wish I could clone myself.
That would solve everything.
I know, but detail, and the devil is in the details, So it's just, you have to be always meticulous and dissect everything. So we're at this stage, we get in more offers and schools and organizations that want us as vendors to bring in a variety of different programs. And here my husband and I were realizing that we just cannot juggle and manage everything that we already overexceeded. So at that point, we decided, how can we scale this? Because again, you don't want to say no to business.
Yeah.
So we decided that the best route for us to go is to franchise our business model. We've been in this for 10 years. We have proven to be successful. We have built a model that is scalable and duplicatable. So, and what it does for us is that we recruit entrepreneurs in different communities across US. And after training them, and of course, we still offer them ongoing support, but after training them, they are in control of their customers, of their, organizations that they work with. Okay, so cool. It's no longer, waiting heavily on us, adding more and more and more. They are the entrepreneurs, they're trained, they're there, they get in the support, but they are managing those details and all of this
Absolutely.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So where are the locations at?
So we were approved with FTC to franchise in 35 states currently. Yes, so this
That's
is
huge.
our new venture, and we are excited about it.
That is so cool. So even through COVID, was it challenging, or just picked up where you left off?
It's, in life, nothing goes smoothly. There are bumps along the way.
That's right.
So I cannot say that it's been a smooth sail with franchising. I mean, we launched right at when COVID hit. Yes.
It's like opening a restaurant right when COVID.
I know. That's happened. A lot of people went through that.
I know. So oops, what do we do now?
Oops, what do we do now?
So we had to put a little bit on hold actual franchise sales, but it was, sometimes when something rough hits you, sometimes you might spot an opportunity in disguise.
I love
that.
So we noticed that we could build and strengthen our virtual online model system and offer that as a part of our franchise offerings. So it's not only local community, but also the virtual community so we spend a great deal of time perfecting our virtual model. And we refined our operations manual, updated our FDD, and so now we are ready to go.
That's so cool.
So that's the thing. See, it's like you said, it's like every adversity has a equal or greater benefit only if you look for it.
Yeah.
In every adversity, there's a seed of a benefit that's either equal or greater than the adversity, but we have to look for it. So it's like, you know what? Guess what we can do? Refine our system. That's right. Make it simpler, right? Shed the fat. I think Zulu talked about that. He's like, hey, you know what? Like, especially going through COVID, it's like, hey, it's a good time, to shed the fat, man. Get some, get streamlined and be able to pivot fast. But that's amazing.
Well, my question is when you went from starting your organization in the beginning, was it a learn as you go, or did you create all of this as a project before you launched it, or did you you know what, let's just figure it out as we go, or you waited some time to create and then really solidify all the details first and then you launched it? How did you
of course you plan ahead. Okay, you can plan ahead, but you cannot plan everything. Sometimes in business, you go through day to day, and there are challenges that pop up. There are unexpected situations, and you have to learn how to deal with them. Sometimes there are failures, sometimes there are unpleasant events, but wow, you learn that better from than any school you would attend, business school you would attend. It's a real life experience. So yeah, doing both, preparing ahead of time, but you cannot be prepared 100%. There's always something happens in business that you'll have to learn as you go.
I love how real she is, honestly. Like, you're so transparent about because that's like the real deal. That's how it is. You just have to just go.
You have to do it, and like I said, the experience part is where you get the real learning.
That's right.
You know, especially if you may not have a whole bunch of people that have opened franchises around you. You're literally blazing a trail.
That's true.
Blazing a trail. So, but with that, what about franchising? Did you wish you knew before you started? So before you started it, what did you wish you knew ahead of time?
That COVID was happening.
That would be
really good to know.
I would time it differently.
Come on, Fauci, man. Why don't you send out an email, Fauci?
I know why it's just. Oh my gosh.
Well, with franchising is this. Well, first of all, it's a very regulated area. Okay, it's not something you can just wake up one day and say, okay, let me start franchising. You have to be ready for it. There is regulators that, dissect all of your paperwork, your, structure, and they either approve or disapprove based on the readiness and ability you have. So also, finding franchisees is just like hiring staff, like with instructors we were talking earlier, meaning that you wouldn't sell franchise just to anyone.
That's true.
Yeah,
that
because it also will reflect badly on you and it damages the brand. You have to be very picky. We turn away, inquiries and interested parties just because, it's just have to be the right individual. Right. Yeah. And, sometimes in business, you'd rather to grow slower, but do it well, do it right, instead of growing fast and having that backfire on you.
That's a good point.
That's a big. Did you guys catch that gold nugget that fell from the sky just now? Or that fell, not gold nugget, that diamond that just fell from the sky, right? But yeah, especially because what happens when you build on, sometimes you grow so fast, but there's you're almost in foundation's quicksand because step one wasn't done exactly.
Well, how are your relationships like? Do people think you guys are crazy for doing this? Like, how was that like? Or was everybody pretty supportive of it?
Well, I have a long track record. Like, if you go on the internet and Google my name, I have decades of information out there.
So cool?
That is so cool.
Google me.
Google
me.
Well,
I love it.
I know. This is so fun.
No, I'm more humble than that, okay? I'm just...
That's why I said
Google me to search for information and my background.
That's why I said that's so cool.
2 decades of information on the web as an artist and as a businesswoman. And I've been blessed that, the quality of work I've done represents for all the years that I have been, around. And we have also amazing reviews on internet for my businesses. So we take customer service very seriously and we try to keep people happy. So having a reputation basically in the industry, people who know me and my husband personally, they know, like, if we put something into our head, we persist and we do it well.
That's
so
awesome.
people who know us well, they did not think we were crazy. They knew, okay, this guy's gonna do it. But new people who don't know me, they go and research information on me, and they find a lot of
credibility.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's
so
good.
cool. I love that.
Do it
So
right.
you've been
Do
established.
it right the first time.
That's
Yes.
right.
Oksana, EST, established, okay?
Man, gotta get a chain. Man. We gotta get you a chain there for that. But when it comes to getting through, it's like you said, there's ups and downs in business all the time, right? So there's, we win. There's never losses in business. It's either you win or you learn.
That's true.
But what's some of the what have been like maybe some slumps or some roadblocks that you may have hit that you guys have kind of powered through when it came to franchising or just in business? What are some of the roadblocks that you guys have had to kind of push through? What are some of those
that
things?
is a very good question. So, of course, recent COVID has been the biggest thing. But also this situation gave me an opportunity to establish my third entity, which is Oksana Foundation, that I had dreams to have for many, 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 many years. And because of that situation, I was able to bring my dream into reality.
Now, tell us what Oksana Foundation, what does it do? Like, what are you guys doing for the communities?
Yes. So Oksana Foundation is my third company. It's a nonprofit 501c3 organization. And what we do, we offer programs free of charge to youth that normally would never be able to afford studying additional programs outside of school. So let's say we have a lot of talented children, musically gifted in impoverished communities. They cannot afford taking piano lessons or guitar lessons or singing lessons. So this is what Oksana Foundation does. We bring those programs free of charge to impoverished youth, and they're able to pursue their talents and interests through Oksana Foundation. And of course, we're grateful to all the donors and sponsors that joined our mission and want to, contribute through us as well.
That's so cool.
But I wanted to mention that Oksana Foundation is something that a dream I had for many years. As I was like performing artist back in the days, I would play so many charitable and fundraiser events, a lot of them. And every time I would play, I would dream about, wow, someday maybe I can have my own foundation and give back to the community. And, this is a cause that is so important to me. And when COVID hit, there was a situation where, now we had to put, franchising a little bit on hold. Some of the schools stopped temporarily programs. So I thought, wow. And so many children were like locked home, in their homes. And so I thought like, wow, maybe it is the time to not only, do something good for children in terms of, offering them being active and busy, while they're staying at home, but also, finally making my dream a reality and creating the nonprofit I wanted to do for so many decades, I would say. And so this is how the Oksana Foundation was born.
So I'm sure you thought about the little girl that you were right? And like someone gave you, your parents gave
That's
it a
right.
chance, and now you can be able to gift that to other kids.
Exactly.
That is so cool.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness, the legacy, man.
Yeah.
Do it, you know.
Yeah.
Man, I got chills. Like you're amazing.
Oh, thank you so
I'm so
much.
touched
You're
and
so
inspired.
sweet. Thank you.
That is awesome.
Man, this is exciting, man. I'm so happy.
I know.
So happy we got together. So when it comes to starting a foundation, like that's no easy thing just to do. Like, yeah, just like, you know, today, guess what I'm gonna do?
But she knows her stuff. It's a 501. You know, she
Yeah.
knows her stuff. So EST.
So when setting that, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Absolutely, you know. And so when doing that, when starting a foundation, what are some of the, you know, what are some of the things you have to have in place in order to start a foundation? Like, what are some things you have to have established?
So you definitely have to have mission statement. Those are, of course, at the core of everything. You have to have burning desire and belief in that what you're creating will be successful and impact people's lives. Also, I wanted to mention that, you know, you cannot know it all, you know, as a person. You might be good at some things, not so good at another things. That's when you do hire help, you know, to help you to navigate through the areas where you may be new to. It's like with franchising. When I opened my company, I mean, it's impossible to do all of this paperwork and everything by yourself. We hired a franchise consultant that we worked for a year to navigate us through all of this process. And same for foundation, you know, you like young entrepreneurs out there, you have to seek out mentors, you have to seek out consultants to navigate and help you to, you know, to pave the road to your dream. So for foundation, we had an attorney who has helped us establish the 501c3 paperwork and to file it and to do all this, you know, the grind work.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that's what it takes. You have to surround yourself with knowledgeable individuals,
Like lawyers, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Like, gotta have all
CPAs.
that.
Yeah.
all
Definitely
that
CPA if you know. We know one.
It's amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing. He'll be on here too. Just let
Matt
us know.
Benny, hi.
Absolutely. But that's what it takes. It takes finding your troops, right? That could be in your corner and be like, hey, here's what we're doing. I don't know everything, but I know you know this. I know you know that.
That's
You know,
right.
to alleviate the pressure
Right.
just on yourself. You know, because if one person tries to take all of that on,
It's impossible. You have to be
It's so
visionary.
much.
You have to be visionary. You see the vision and then you hire help how to help you execute that vision. You have to hire the right team.
I like how she mentioned that first. She said you have to have the belief. Like you mentioned that first, and then you said outsource. So it starts with the vision.
It does.
I love that she said that. How was your son like seeing all this? Because now he's an entrepreneur.
oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
whole,
so
oh my
cool.
gosh, talk about that.
Yeah, he's indeed very talented boy. He's just turned 12 years old. And he knew since very young age that he wanted to be an entrepreneur, business owner. And he's also quite talented. He plays piano. He's an author of 2 books. The first book he wrote when he was 8 years old. And he wrote it for children about that age and a little younger, ideas on activities they can do when they're bored. It's also a
What?
coloring book.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then he also, when he was 10 years old, he wrote his second book, which is a science fiction. So he has a very creative mind, and he loves space, time, and everything relating to that.
Shout out to Alessandro, man. What a great, oh my goodness. That's how we ended up meeting.
That's right.
You know,
I know. It's so fun.
I was like, what was it? We were at I forget where we were. I don't know if it was like ice cream place or and he was selling his book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what?
I know.
I was like, wait, this is your book? This is like a book? You know, like you have the little, the little books for school. You have the like little school programs. No, it was his book. He wrote it. And this kid is a closer.
Yeah.
That's so good.
When they say coffees for closers, man, this guy gets a full cup every day. This guy, man, he's amazing. But he's a visionary, man. He's a visionary. You know, and which is he has great lineage.
An example. Like,
great
what a
lineage
great
and
example.
You know, he, before the books were published, he said to us that, when he starts selling him, and he wants to be out there, hustler, selling his own books by the, store and the ice cream shop. He says, I want to donate a portion to a charity, and I also want to be able to pay for my own college with my own proceeds.
Gosh, making big man decisions. Like,
man, he's standing on his square.
That's how we met Alex. Yeah, he was
Wait.
selling his books.
That's so cool.
After they were published, and
I was like,
here we are
what?
today.
I was like,
so as a parent who's listening, what advice would you give to them if their kids like, hey, I want to start a YouTube channel or I want to write a book? What would your advice be to them?
It is so important for parents to take notice what their kids' interests are, because parents are the first individuals that see it. And if it's ignored, it's harder later in life to pursue your passions. The sooner you start, the more upper hand you have, the more success you have. And just having support of your family, that is such a safe environment, and encouragement, it just makes a world of a difference.
That's so good.
I love that.
That's so good.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, because sometimes I hear kids and they're like, oh, I want to do this. And some parents are like, well, you have to get this done. Like, you have to do this. And it's not like, oh, that's so awesome. There's no recognition sometimes. Like, that's a good idea. Like my husband's very, different minded than me. Now he's transitioning into entrepreneur. I'm like, oh, it took 17 years for this, but we've been married that long. But, I've always helped my kids like, hey, you have an idea? Let's do it. Let's figure out what to do. And so, but on the other side, my husband, he's very like, oh, well,
Structured.
you gotta make sure you do this, but I don't know if that seems too big, And I said, no, baby, it's not too big. We could work with it. So I
can
love
always
that.
grow. So
Yeah.
you start small and it's baby steps, but you keep pursuing, you keep expanding, you keep taking next steps.
Yes.
And before you know, it blows up.
Yeah.
Small wins, right?
Yeah.
Small wins.
I love you, honey. I love you so much. He's getting it, which is good.
But having that, like you said, having that that cohesiveness and in the home, right? Having that conversation with their kids, even if you have another family member that's trying to get out there and start something, even if you wouldn't necessarily do it, no, what the biggest thing you can do is pat them on the back and be like, I believe in you.
That's true. So important.
Yeah.
Because entrepreneurs, they get so much, setbacks, and encouragement, especially from family and friends, is everything to keep them going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got to keep that tank full, man. Got to keep that happiness tank full. At least from the people that, you're out there fighting the world, right? You're out there fighting against the world all day. You don't want to come home and have to fight in the house.
It's terrible.
But just seeing the partnership, Oksana and her husband has,
That's awesome.
is amazing. And
that's so good.
kind of closing out with that, because I know we're finishing up here. But how important is it, to have a husband and wife, understanding what we're doing, especially when you both play a role in the business. how important it is you guys to have like an understanding and be in constant communication.
I need a piece of paper and pen for this. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, it's a very good question because for a lot of couples, it's hard to work together unless you both share the same vision, okay, share the same passion. Disagreements arise. I cannot lie. It's just human nature. It's life. However, if you keep at the core of it that you are basically a team and you're not competitors, a lot of couples are competing like I'm better, I'm this better, that. No, you work as a team. You support each other. You push each other. Also dividing the tasks, okay? Like, your spouse is overseeing this area of the business. He has more control of it, where you step in the other angle of the business. Not to say that you don't communicate, because everything intertwined. But it's just having each other's back, like through good and bad. Just be there. If someone is down, just be there to encourage and support. And like, we're gonna get through this.
So good.
Take notes.
Yeah, take notes.
I took a couple notes. I took a couple mental notes right there. I'm gonna rewatch that about 40 times.
I'm gonna share this podcast probably a million times because everyone who's in business needs to hear this.
But it's that communication, and like you said, we're not competing. Yeah. We're on the same team here. We're trying to get to the same place.
Yeah, have each other back.
Absolutely. So kind of closing out here. What's where can everybody find you? I know you're on social media. Mm-hmm. So where can everybody find you?
Decades,
and on Google and everywhere.
They can find me easily. Just Google my name.
She has her own barcode.
No, but seriously. So my Instagram is OMG, like Oksana Management Group. OMG Oksana, Oksana. My LinkedIn is also OMG Oksana, and Oksana spells Oksana. And my Facebook page is also OMG Oksana.
very succinct. I love it. And we'll have the foundation link. We'll have everything in there, so people can go support as needed. Donor support. Please do that to help these kids in underserviced communities, because I believe in that. Like, that's amazing. To give those kids opportunities that they wouldn't have otherwise had.
They can change the world.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, man. Oh my gosh. But any closing statements, any closing remarks, any closing questions?
I've already said it probably a million times, but you inspired me
Thank you so much.
You've fulfilled the foundation and building, teaching with your art. That's something that I've been wanting to do. You just basically let me know that it is possible.
Oh, thank you so
much.
So
thank you so much.
I'm
it was
very
so good
humbled,
to meet you.
And I'm so happy to share my story, and just wanting to let everybody know, no matter how hard it gets, if you persevere, you will make it.
Ooh, man, I love it, man. I love it. Well, you guys know where you can find us right here on the No Pressure, No Diamonds podcast. This is an amazing episode, but please be sure to like, subscribe, share this with somebody and pass it on. Each one teach one, right? Each one teach one. Each That's one right. pass this along to the next person. And we appreciate you. And hey, without no further ado, no pressure, no diamonds.